From power outages to fuel shortages, tonight state lawmakers are grappling with the lessons they learned from Hurricane Irma. ABC Action News anchor Paul LeGrone spent the day digging into some of the proposed solutions. But Paul, there is really no easy fix, right?
Yeah, that's right. There really isn't here, Wendy. And whether you're talking about putting all the power lines below ground or you're talking about setting up massive fuel reserves somewhere in Central Florida, the answers to the problem of a major hurricane hitting a state like Florida with 20+ million people are not so simple.
I had limbs that were big around as my leg come down out of the, broke them out like matchsticks.
Phil Leckie lost power for a full week after Irma.
You could come out and look at all the homes around here. Everybody else had power except me.
The only one in the dark and the only one with power lines below ground. So you have below ground power lines? But your power still went out?
Yeah. Branch fell in the line fuse back there and blew the transformer out.
Tico says despite popular perception, below ground power lines are actually not foolproof.
Underground lines are susceptible to flooding and saltwater intrusion. And when there is an issue on an underground line, it takes longer to find and longer to fix.
But after 13 million Floridians were left without power in Irma's wake, state lawmakers are now considering the pricey prospect of burying Florida's power lines. And they're also thinking about setting up gas reserves after the mass evacuation left fuel pumps dry. But officials with the Port of Tampa say they never ran out of fuel. They say it was more of a distribution problem because it was unsafe to have the fuel tankers on the road during the height of the hurricane. They also point out that while it may be a good idea to have fuel reserves, they say that may not make much of a difference when you have millions of people leaving the state all at once and making a run on gas. And fuel experts we spoke with say it's not clear how or where the reserve tanks would be built and who would pay for it. The Monday morning quarterbacking of Hurricane Irma, a playbook with more questions than answers. And here's something else to keep in mind about those below ground power lines versus the above ground. Well, the way it works in Florida, even if you have underground service at your home, at some point that service is connected to something above ground, whether it's a substation or other transmission lines. And if there is an issue in those areas, that's going to affect your power.